Welcome to the Why Does My Partner podcast. I'm Jules.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met at a training, and our secret sauce is that we and our partners became fast friends.
Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients.
We're going to bring those questions here, and together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions.
This podcast is not a substitute for couples therapy. If something you hear in this podcast stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We'd also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com to leave a question of your own. Here's today's question. Why does my partner police my words and tell me what I'm doing when I'm not doing? Whenever my partner and I try to communicate, they will change the meaning of my words or tell me that I'm not saying what I'm saying. I'll try and get my meaning across in a different way, only to be coached or instructed by them telling me that what I said was wrong or incorrect. It brings up feelings of gaslighting and invalidation. And when I refuse this script, they get even more angry and upset. It feels impossible to get anything across my side of the bridge.
Oh.
Wow, this really feels like a continuation from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And I'm just, what's happening internally in me is actually hurting for both partners in this call coming in. Because the first piece I want to say is, of course you feel invalidated.
Yeah.
It sounds like what's happening is telling you that how you're talking and how you're expressing yourself is wrong somehow. Or that you're not having the experience you're having. I can't tell totally which one it is. Maybe it's both. But ouch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm also feeling that ache for your partner who is probably in a pretty unintegrated brain state and is trying to find a way, to find a way to get their needs met in the way that they know when they're in that agitation. And so, ouch. I'm just like,
just naming it. Yeah. Ouch.
Hurting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm catching all the pain in here for both partners.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about times where there's really felt like there's a lot of gridlock, whether it's with the couples that I'm with or it's within my own relationships. And when that gridlock is there and possibility feels like it shrinks and things become much more black and white for both and heels get kind of dug in, it becomes a lot harder to even hear, oh, this would be helpful to find a way through.
Yeah.
Right.
And it may be that it's not being expressed in that way too. When the heels get dug in, it's not coming out like, by the way, you could do this in a way that would help me a lot more. That's not what's happening.
It's coming off more with the blamey piece.
Right.
Yeah.
And now once those heels get dug in, it's more like, why can't you just tell me the way I want you to do it?
And then if I have to use your words to do it, then it's not really what I'm thinking. And so you need to let me find my own way there.
No, I'm telling you, I need you to say it this way. Otherwise, I can't hear you.
But I'm not going to say it the way that you're telling me to say it. You're being too controlling.
And now we're dug in.
What's going on, Vic?
I'm on Jules' side because I'm like, why can't you just say it like that then? That's what I was thinking about. I'm like,
she's taking sides.
Well, I have some offerings for you. One, why would my partner do this? I actually had a couple who came in who would get into this thing. And this is an option about maybe. Why does my partner do this? When we really slowed down and brought this partner into relationship with herself, she was wanting her wife to meet her in a way where sticky conversations felt like they hurt less. And if her wife would just use a certain kind of word or a certain way of saying something, then it would hurt less. So she was managing the vulnerability and potential hurt on her side by managing her partner's speech. So that's what we discovered once we went inside.
I'm just noticing how much oh yeah, of course she was managing all that.
Right.
That makes total sense. And also, oh, her partner, of course she was feeling managed and controlled. That makes total sense.
Because she was
being managed and controlled.
Yeah. So
that
I'm
was
just kind
an
of
accurate feeling.
oh yeah, both of, on both. I'm not.
This is why communication's so sticky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a possible. Why is this happening? It's a possible. Why is this happening out of deflection? I've also seen it where this happens. And what's really going on is I'm deflecting the conversation and not wanting to address your points. And I'm saying, oh, you're talking about this thing. No, I'm not. I'm talking about this. No, I think you're really talking about this thing. So I've seen it go where there's a lot of deflection happening. And really, it's about not wanting to have that accountability conversation. Yeah. Sometimes for fear of like the shame stuff gets too big. Other times because there is a longing to not address the point on one side, but not on the other. I don't want to change this thing. Yeah. So that makes me curious for the person who called in. Oh, is this happening really consistently with a lot of different subjects or only with one subject?
So where this is bringing me is to witnessing our states, right? Witnessing our brain state. Because if we could slow this down enough that both partners can do the U-turn and can check out oh, am I in an integrated brain state or a not so integrated brain state or a really not integrated brain state? That might give us some clues about what's happening underneath.
Yeah.
Well, and because I'm thinking that even from a non-integrated brain state I so want to generalize this, but I'm going to make it me. Because I'm kind of a people pleaser, if Gabe gave me a script and I was integrated enough, I'm likely to follow his script. So if I'm asking him to follow mine, I don't understand why he won't. Because if he asked me the same, I would.
It's a good thing that you're married to Gabe and not James. Because basically what I'm saying is my partner's fallback in some way is let him come to his own, let him discover the thing and speak his truth.
He doesn't follow my script
at
all.
because if I tell James what to do, he is gonna just resist because he doesn't like being told.
Oh no, that's me.
But if I just sit back and take care of me on my side of the street and not do the thing that I'm trying to do to manage him and just take care of me, right? That's me taking care of my not so integrated brain state. If I'm doing that side of the work and I let him find his own discovery, we get there a lot quicker.
Oh, so do we. I'm just saying I would do it if he
it would be nice
me,
if.
So why won't he do it when I ask him?
Okay. I would be deeply resistant to it. So I can tell you why I wouldn't.
Right.
There was in the history of my being, I have had lots of control behaviors. And so
coming at you.
I don't mean in me towards people. I mean coming at me.
Oh, I knew what you meant. And I laughed because of Gabe's family background that I won't out publicly because that's his story.
Right.
But that was why I laughed.
Right. So for me, if you try to get me to do something a certain way, it activates all of that stuff. And either I'm going to fawn, go ahead and do it, and then resent, or I'm going to dig in my heels and it will look very not dig in my heels like. I will be pleasant and then not do the thing.
Oh, he won't be pleasant,
that you
but
asked
he will
me
not
to
do
pleasantly, not do the thing. And then if I am in a state where I am in good relationship with myself in that moment and I can help myself be integrated even in the face of that, I might be able to name, oh, this feels terrible because it feels like you're trying to control how I am in this conversation. And that reminds me of X, Y, and Z from my history. Please don't do that. That would be the ideal feedback in that moment. And I'm just thinking about like how common it is for somebody to want a script and how common it is for people to resist scripts. And the trick is just, do you know who you're partnered with in terms of that landscape? Because that's another reason why your partner may be offering this to you, is that they're giving you what they would want.
Totally.
So they would want a script. Please go ahead and give me a script. That would help me know how to do the thing. Don't worry, I'll give you one too. Only wait a second, the other one doesn't want it.
Oh, that's me. You just described me. Please give me the script.
Yes, because then I could do it right. And then I would know I was doing it right. Check, check, check. And then I don't have any risk of doing it wrong.
Yes.
Right? I do
Except
have a
then you
hint.
might come into contact with someone like me who has a history of people who ask for the script and then say the thing and then never do the thing.
Wait, what?
And so people who ask for the
mean?
script say the thing and never do the thing. And so if that's your history like me, you might be resistant to offering a script because
it's just going to get you burned.
Yeah.
Totally. Because when you offer it, you're going to make it look nice right now. But in the end, I'm going to get...
But that's the point, right? We all have these different histories.
Yeah.
And our histories are coming up on both sides of this conversation in different ways. And when they come up, we lose some integration.
Totally. Of course we do.
Makes so much sense.
Well, is a really important skill set, which we talk about in our workshop. Our next one's coming up in September. If you can make it, we'd sure love to have you there. And for those of us who are listening right now, I don't want to leave you without a hint on this one. I think a meta conversation about what needs we're each attempting to meet would take you a long way here.
Can we go a little bit deeper into that? Like, I think when we're talking about, I said this in a group I was leading recently. I said, all of us, like all humans, we're all messy bags of skin, bones, and unmet needs.
Amen.
Right? It caught me and I started giggling at myself when I said it. But I think that's the thing, right? So there's these unmet needs in every single one of us. How do we express that and share it with our partners in a way that also says, like, here's my hope. Here's my hope of the need that maybe you could help me meet.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you have to do a U-turn
and how do we
to know
ask
what the
for
hope
it?
is.
Right.
Holy moly.
Right. So one, in order to answer that question, you have to know what need you are trying to meet, which can be helped by slowing down a little bit and really asking. 2, can you ask your partner what they need? 3, can you out yourself about what you need? Right? So are we slowing down enough to find out? And then can we be brave enough to name it? So if I were this caller, I might say, sweet partner, I've noticed this thing is happening. When you are telling me the words that you want, what's your hope there? If I did it, what need would get met for you that is not met when I don't? And hopefully we can have a conversation that goes both ways. Maybe they can ask you, oh, sweet partner, when you want to say things your way, what need gets met there? What need does not get met if you don't get to use the words that are right for you? That way we can have that larger needs conversation and maybe find multiple ways of meeting those needs rather than only one. Because when we only have one way to meet a need, that is a recipe for fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Jules, how do you usually describe it? It's something about need versus strategy or something like that?
Yeah.
When we get locked into a strategy.
Yeah. So the strategy in this case is say it this way. The need is, I'll just take a guess. The need is validation of my experience. If that got met, what need would get met there? I would feel like I matter to you. okay. So do you feel how I'm dropping down?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you matter to me, what need gets met there, right? It could be the same thing over and over. Yep, that's the thing that's really at the bottom, or it could go even deeper than that. And once we get there, then we say, oh, well, how is this need going to get met in our relationship? One way to do it is to say the script. Another way to do it is what, honey? What are all the different ways to do it? And maybe we could come up with
creativity.
A creativity that leads you into a Venn diagram where some of the behaviors really cross over and everybody feels good about doing them and a bunch of needs get met. And then there might be a middle area where, oh, that's not my favorite thing, but I understand it helps you out, so I can do it every once in a while. And then there's the ones that's, oh, hell no, I will never do that. You can just let that go. And that strategy is just not a strategy I'm ever going to use. And the other piece, I have such bad news for people. I'm just laughing at myself because I have such bad news all the time. I really want us to own that not every need is going to get met. Yeah. Of course you want them to. And what I want us to communicate to our partners is your needs are okay with me, even when I cannot meet them.
Your needs are okay with me, even when I cannot meet them. And I just want to also do a U-turn for the person asking for their needs to be met here.
My needs are okay, even though they will not always be met. It is okay that I have them.
I think it's so important to name this because it does something really big. If we can sit with the grief of not all of our needs or not all of our partner's needs are going to be met by our partner or by ourselves or vice versa. If we can sit with that, then it frees us from this place of like foisting all of the unmet needs from our earlier parts of life onto our partners and expecting or demanding that they meet those needs.
I call it in my office, I call it handing each other the baby.
Yeah.
Oh, you handed your partner your baby. Only they didn't know they were holding a baby. They thought they were holding their 50-year-old partner. But they weren't. They were holding a 2-year-old. You just handed them the baby.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, please stop handing them the baby. Only hand them the baby when we all agree it's okay, I can hold the baby.
And there are times where that really happens.
And it does.
And it's delicious. Awesome. But it can't be all the time.
Not all the time.
If our partners...
it's okay the baby's here. And it's okay the pain is here, even though it's not okay because it's awful. But
the pain sucks.
It's okay.
The fact that the pain is here is okay.
It can be welcomed. Yeah.
I think this is a good place to land. I'm thinking I would love to see a lot of you all who are listening to the show and who are appreciating these conversations join us for the workshop. It's basically like 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you are, and then 5 hours on a Saturday, and then the same thing the following week. So we're trying to make it pretty accessible because there's a lot of content. We have a lot to share with you, and we want to make it really experiential, meaning that you get it into your bones before you leave us. So it's going to take some time, but we're trying to also balance that with our schedules.
Your schedules and busyness and time to try out some of these ideas and come back and ask us questions in person. And we keep our workshops small on purpose so that you get one-on-one attention from us.
So this is
get held together in a group of people who really want to grow too.
So much.
You'll be surrounded by like-minded effort.
A lot of effort. Yeah. And this is the end of season 7.
It is true.
This is our last episode.
We've been on for 7 seasons, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. And thank you for submitting questions. They're very exciting.
So exciting.
Yeah. Keep your questions coming.
Keep them coming. And if you are enjoying the show, do us a favor and head over to wherever you're listening to the show and leave us a review. It really helps us to get the word out. That would be a really wonderful thing you could do for us.
All right. We'll see you next
season.
Miniseries.
Next miniseries. Yeah.
Next season.
We'll put out another miniseries for you.
Yeah. Take care.
All right. Take care.
Bye. That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner? We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show. To go deeper, join us at one of our workshops. You'll find our next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you can ask us your questions? Your questions are relational gold. Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.
And here are some gratitudes. Thanks to Al Hoberman, our sound editor and podcast production magic maker, our audio intern, Cole Rickman, and to every one of you who has joined us for our workshops in the past. We've learned so much from all of you.
If you're enjoying these conversations, please subscribe, rate, and especially please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
Thanks so much for listening to Why Does My Partner? Take care of each other best you can.
See you next time.